friendly coffee comes from Ironclad Coffee Roasters. Ironclad roasts and serves up their beautiful beans at 2 cafes in Richmond, so you can enjoy their crafted roasted specialty beans from anywhere in the country by visiting www.ironcladcoffee.com. Place your order there and it'll be roasted to your order and shipped out directly to your doorstep.
Whenever you find yourself in the Commonwealth, pay them a visit at their 2 cafes in the Richmond area. Ironclad's owners, the O'Rourke family, are proud Flames Club members and are pleased to sponsor these podcasts by Sea Red. Hop on over to their website at www.ironcladcoffee.com now to get Virginia's best specialty coffee headed your way.
All right. Richie Longshots is in the house. John's going to stay on. Of course, John is going to stay on after a fantastic 7-3-1 week. Longshots, what do you think about John Manson? Maybe a sleeper here coming back.
Well, first things first, Nick, I haven't had a cup of coffee in 15 years, but that commercial might inspire me to jump back on the caffeine wagon. Ironclad coffee. If we can get some Ironclad coffee down to Boca, I will have my first cup of coffee in 15 years. So just want to get that out. John had a great week. I was impressed. There were a lot of close games this week. I know I lost a couple by like a point, and I just was like, just checking the score on my phone. I know, the Baylor Gonzaga was a push. Had no business being a push. Baylor should have won that game a little bit more. And also just shout out, obviously, to John having a great week. Anytime you can go 7-3 with a push, 70% is just awesome. Shout out to us. We all took liberty and they covered. So we were able to break our streak of when we have a consensus pick. Usually fails, but in this situation, we finally nailed one.
And FGCU, we did 2.
Yes, 2 and 2.
2 kisses of death. So maybe it's over.
We're back.
For all the listeners and the viewers tonight, I just want you to know that overall record is very deceiving. These first 2 weeks that I made my picks, this is my disclaimer I'm going to have for the rest of the year. First 2 weeks I made these picks, I was, having to do it in the airport on the way back from Arkansas, or, when I was on the way back from New York City with the family from the UConn game. But, these last 2 weeks, I've been able to put in some time, do some homework, and look who's been top of the leaderboard each of the last 2 weeks.
Well, I'm sure you can ride out college football for another month and a half, or maybe into March. Something will happen. Hey, they got to recruit. Sorry, guys, I went 2-8 this week. We got a top 500 recruit. So,
wow,
built-in excuses. You always need a built-in excuse.
Yeah, I wear my 5-5-1 with pride. All right, let's get to it this week. Great slate, man. I mean, I don't know, maybe a mediocre slate this week. But I want to start off with St. Louis at Iona because I think this game is awesome. And I want to see Liberty have these kind of games. Like, why can't we have a home and home with Iona? Like, that is awesome. And I who knows, maybe Pitino's too scared to do a home and home. I don't know. But this is a fun game. These are the games that I love watching. I love watching St. Louis Iona more than Kentucky Duke. Give me St. Louis Iona every day. I know I'm a weirdo, but we all went with St. Louis. I wanted to go with Iona. Like, I feel like this is Pitino's Super Bowl in the non-conference, getting St. Louis to come to their building. But St. Louis is really, really good. I couldn't do it. Longshots, why are you buying the Pitino stock?
Iona's 4-0 at home against the spread this year. St. Louis 3-3. As a favorite. Give me the undefeated team. You don't think Pitino's having the time of his life watching Louisville right now? You don't think he's just cackling in his office in New Rochelle, New York? Just like, what a bunch of idiots down there. Like, he's taking Iona. What a risky move for them to go out and get Rick Pitino, and it worked out. But yeah, 4-0 at home. Like you said, this is going to be the Super Bowl for them, and I like the Gales. Right? They're the Gales.
Yeah,
Iona Gales. I know what I'm talking about sometimes.
the Iona Gales.
We played Iona in a bracket buster game a couple of years ago. I wish they
Yep.
would bring those back.
Yep.
Not that
Those
game.
were fun.
Not that game though.
No, that was a rough game, but just the concept of the bracket busters was always fun.
I got a group of non-Liberty people together to watch that game. I think it was on ESPNU, and oh man, that was they were like, Kirby, you made us watch this. Like, that was rough.
Yeah.
Rough times.
I was at that game. It was bad.
Yeah, like it was never close. Like it was start to finish. Yeah. All right. James Madison at Virginia. Once again, Longshots goes against the grain. John, why do you like Virginia in this one?
This was one I actually went back and forth on. I was the only one. I was in Richie's boats last week and was the only one that took JMU, I think, minus 15 or 16 against whoever it was. We were picking them against, maybe Jacksonville. I forget who it was. But anyways, I went back and forth. JMU's had a really good start to the season. But so as Virginia, they're really good. That pack line defense is something else. It'll be interesting because JMU scored a lot of points. They've scored 90 to 100 points in several of their games this year. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this one plays out. And one reason why it kind of tipped me over towards Virginia was they went and played at JMU in their new arena last year and lost that game. So I know that Virginia's not going to be taking them lightly. But again, I mean, this one could go either way.
That's exactly why I went with Virginia. I think JMU is really good. I think Virginia's going to be on their game in this one. Long shots. Why are you taking the Duke Dogs?
As John said, JMU has a great offense. Obviously, Virginia's defense is masterful. But in a situation like this, give me the points. UVA has not covered in their last three. Sure, they played Florida State, Michigan, and UMES, as I've been calling them, University of Maryland, Eastern Shore. I think UMES sounds a lot better. Haven't covered in any of those three games, so I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, and in that situation, give me JMU and the points.
North Florida at Houston. We all are taking the Cougars. I've been on the Cougars, but they have kind of disappointed me the last couple of games. I mean, they've been winning, but not covering their spreads. North Florida's just not good. I just think Houston's just going to destroy them. Only way North Florida covers is if it's like some sort of backdoor garbage at the end. Is that your guys' thought? I just think Houston is just going to wipe the floor with them.
Yeah, this is 30 points. It's going to be like 90 to 55, 35, 40 points. It's just going to get ugly.
I might actually put money on this one. We'll see what the actual line is. This is the one. First two, probably stay away.
Might be out already.
Is it? All right.
There's some Wednesday. There's some Tuesday lines out already. So I'll look that up.
All right. You look that up. We'll talk about Jacksonville State at Utah. Like I mentioned earlier, Jacksonville State playing better, but Utah just beat Arizona on their home floor and beat them pretty convincingly. 15. I can't take Jack State to cover, but long shots. Either we're going to catch up or you're going to run away with this because we got a lot of different picks this week. Why are you on a Jacksonville State?
Well, I couldn't find they didn't have a point spread for it yet. There are some couple of Tuesday games floating around. The JMU game specifically, that spread is UVA minus 11.5. So in the ballpark of that 13. But I'm happy to take the 13 there. Utah, I think they're gonna come off of a big win. This is going to be a game they just kind of glaze over. Give me the points.
All right,
give me the points. I'm in a big take the points mood right now. Coming off of feast week and the brackets, teams are this is the last stand before really conference play ramps up for everyone. So this will be just kind of like all right, let's just get into conference play with a win and go from there.
Take the points unless you're North Florida.
Yeah.
Yes. Unless you're playing the number one team in the country, then yes.
Yeah, I feel like North Florida's ATS is not going to be good this year. All right, Friday night, Queens at High Point. This is a fun little mid-major game. I wanted to go with Queens. I originally had Queens in my first draft, but then I looked at what High Point's done this year. I was like, ooh, wow, this team's been pretty impressive, and they're the home team. I think they've been too impressive this year. I think Queens could win this game. I looked at what High Point's done, and I had to go with them. John, thoughts?
Yeah, I'm with you. I actually, when I first saw this, my gut was like, take Queens. But when I looked up what High Point had done this year, I was like, I think I'm going to take the Panthers, especially at home. Of course, Queens will probably end up winning the game outright, and I wouldn't be surprised. But High Point's been impressive. Both these teams have been impressive, and both North Carolina teams about what, an hour and a half, 2 hours maybe away from each other. Should be a good atmosphere and a good game.
Yeah, I think I'm like 0-4 on picking against Queens this year, and that's why I wanted to go against them. But then I looked at High Point, and I couldn't do it. Lipscomb -7 at Alabama A&M. I feel like this line is going to be a lot higher than -7. Longshots, do you agree? I think Lipscomb is, unless Vegas isn't doing their due diligence. If that is actually -7, put some real money on that.
Yeah, one of my rules is I don't bet on any team with A&M in their name, just out of sheer principle. Same with Midwest directional schools, any of the Eastern, Western Michigans. So no, I will never bet on Alabama A&M. The only time I'll bet on an A&M is if it's Texas A&M, and even that's not very profitable these days in anything. So no, Lipscomb's significantly better. I couldn't tell you Alabama A&M's mascot. So yeah, Lipscomb in a runaway probably would be a double-digit spread when it comes out, like you mentioned. So definitely a nice little Friday night betting opportunity.
I was incredibly shocked to see this at 7, and that's why I had to go up and look at Alabama A&M, what they have done, and nothing they have done screams, oh, this should be a 7-point spread. So it was an easy pick for Lipscomb, but of course, again, we're probably missing something, and Alabama A&M is going to cover. But yeah, give me the Bisons here.
Just that home boost, really. I don't buy it here. Will, you got any thoughts on Alabama A&M? I see you want to chime in here.
A lot of thoughts. No, I was just wondering why Richie Longshots doesn't do the A&M. Is that like are you superstitious or just a little stitious?
I'm just a little stitious.
Okay.
By the way, Will, you watching Raw tonight? Are we missing anything?
I'm gonna watch it on Hulu tomorrow.
Ooh, you're gonna avoid the spoilers?
Yeah.
All right. Arizona versus Indiana. This is a neutral site game. We all went with the Wildcats. I've been really impressed with Arizona so far this year. Indiana just got trounced by Rutgers, right? Long shots, didn't they get trashed by Rutgers?
Trounced. They came off the big win at UNC. They went into the Jersey Mike's Arena, a sneaky tough place to play, and got trounced.
Yeah, I can't believe Arizona's an underdog in this game. I was like that.
Yeah.
What do you think this line ends up as, Long shots?
My guess, maybe everyone's going to be thinking about the whole, just losing to Rutgers. My guess is within 5. Arizona is the favorite. That's my guess, but I'm also an idiot when it comes to trying to predict stuff especially with basketball. Football's easy. You could just go 3, 7, 10, 14, pick any of those numbers. But with basketball, it's at worst, I'd say a basket, 3 to 5.
All right. Xavier at Cincinnati. This is a huge game in my hometown of Cincinnati. We all went with Xavier -2, except for Chad. Chad is riding the Bearcats, who got smashed by Northern Kentucky earlier this year.
Good pick, Chad.
Good pick, Chad. Now,
Nick,
this go ahead.
Is this? Did I read correctly? This is like the Skyline Chili. This game's being sponsored by Skyline Chili, or like the Skyline Chili Arena,
the Skyline
Festival,
the Skyline Chili Crosstown Shootout. Yeah, so this is
yes, it is.
We've punches in the eyeball. This is an intense rivalry. It's these teams legitimately hate each other. So this is a game that you could kind of sometimes throw the stats out. Xavier actually beat Cincinnati when they were ranked number 1 twice. So it could be flipped around, but yeah, Xavier's a much better team. They would have to really, really underperform. All right, Jacksonville at UNC Wilmington. UNC Wilmington 2-point favorites. Chad is the odd duck here, going with Jacksonville. 2 points at home. I think these are pretty similar teams. I'm taking UNC Wilmington. John?
Yeah, this one's hard for me to pick. Kind of like we were talking about a few minutes ago, is I don't really know what to expect out of Jacksonville. They haven't had enough true tests. I mean, you talked about playing Duke, and then they had a nice showing against Campbell, but I don't really know. And so because I don't know, I kind of went with Wilmington. They've had some decent wins and decent performances this year, but I really just don't have a good read on this Jacksonville team yet this year.
I'm right down the road from Wilmington, and a lot of alumni are hyped up for the basketball team this year. So I think they're expecting great things.
Yeah. All right. This is a game I would never actually bet money on, but yeah, if it's like a 2-point game, I'm just going with the home team. Murray State 4-point favorites on the road at Freedom Hall Arena against Bellarmine. We all went with Murray State. Richie Longshots going with the basement of the ASON in the net, Bellarmine +4.
Yeah, I just think Bellarmine a bounce back. Home dogs. Murray State not super impressive in their last 3 games. They beat Valparaiso, only beat Illinois State by 3, which I thought they were a D2 team, and they only beat Chattanooga by 3. So not really blowing teams away, when you think of Murray State. So just a home dog. And take the point season.
I was surprised the line was only 4. So then when I was looking at Murray State's record, I mean, you hear Murray State, you're like, wow, that's one of the best mid-majors in the country. But they're down a little bit this year, not quite the same Murray State team that we've seen the last few years. So this is another one that kind of scares me and not one I would personally bet on. But yeah, I think Murray State, the Racers, I just feel like they've got to have more talent than Bellarmine does. But again, Bellarmine has surprised me before.
Yeah, outside of Murray State's first game where they got trounced by St. Louis, they've either won every game or they've had a 1-possession loss, and pretty quality competition. Yeah, I like Murray State. I just think they're a much better team than Bellarmine. But again, Bellarmine, like we said earlier, could be a little bit of inflated numbers just because of how tough a competition they played, and they clearly don't have the athleticism to compete with a lot of these teams. So we'll see. And then Saturday, this is another fun mid-major game. Mercer at Florida Gulf Coast. Dunk City's a wagon right now. I'm riding them. I wanted to go against the grain on this and pick Mercer, but I couldn't do it.
Yeah, Florida Gulf at home. It's gonna be a Saturday. That arena is gonna be rocking. No finals on Sunday. It's still our finals week, so it's gonna be the place to be. So it's gonna be a wild arena. I think they win by double digits.
Nick, you and I are on the same wavelength this week. We got all the same picks.
Do we really?
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that. Oh wow!
I just caught that.
You can't catch me, John.
It's adorable.
All right. Well, we will be very excited to see the field versus Longshots this week. Who comes out on top? Either Longshots going to come in next week, just strutting his St. Peter's peacock, or he's going to have his head down and you're going to have to dig back in. So we will see. Excited about that. Richie, thanks as always.
Thanks for having me.
Any final thoughts for us?
I'm excited to see Richie down in Boca next week. When you booked the flight, right?
Flight is booked. We're flying down Monday afternoon. Land around 1:00, and it's going to be a great few days getting out there. And are there any basketball games while we're down there?
I'm sure there are. We'll have to catch some and see who's getting the upper hand between myself, you, and Chad.
Yes, hopefully there's one of the games that we pick. We'll be able to watch all together. And on top of Monday Night Football, of course, we'll be around for that. But no, it's been great. I take a screenshot of what you posted on there, and I highlight as the week goes on. I highlight the game either red or green, and tracking my tracking how I do, and flipping games on. Like, ooh, final 3 minutes. Let me throw that on real quick. So it's been great to check out games that I normally wouldn't be checking out. That's for certain. So. It's been great to watch you guys, like I said before, learn a little bit about basketball. I can't wait for conference play to begin. That's kind of like the meat and potatoes of a team like Liberty, and that's where we're really going to see how this team shapes up and what the expectations are going to be going forward.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Well, thanks a lot, Richie.